Welcome back, everybody. It's time for a ZVZ. Surprisingly, Creator is 2-0'd Hero. And I gotta say, he looks great. I love the timing attack, especially in game 2. Still questioning Hero's the fact that he has the nerve to cannon rush here versus Creator, completely getting shut down. There's a realistic chance Hero does not make it out of this group.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit tough now for Hero. I still would be surprised if he got knocked out in the losers match, but for Creator winning, that means that the next 2 series that he plays, if he wins them, he gets to go into the round of 4. And his PBZ is so out of this world. He might have, you know, a top 2, top 3 PBZ in the world right now. It's been his best matchup forever. There's a very good chance that we have Creator advancing to the top 4. And on top of it, with Dark and DRG now fighting off, the loser of this match is going to have to go up against Hero, which is just a nightmare for any Zerg to play an elimination GSL match against Hero here in the round of 8.
And I do feel like Hero probably has the scariest PvC in all of Korea here. So it's DRG versus Dark. I feel like this is a very obvious matchup where Dark is clearly the favorite. But let's keep an open mind here. DRG, I feel like his best matchup is still ZVZ. So, yeah, maybe he'll be able to take a game here. But it would feel weird to not have a top 4 without Dark.
Yeah, DRG's in a little bit of an odd spot right now because he played through the round of 16 here in GSL and went 4-0. First place in a group with Beyond, Nightmare, and Solar.
Right.
Which is really impressive. And it kind of makes you think that he's going to be in good form. But then when he went to Dallas, I'm not sure if it was jet lag or just the new environment or if something was up with him. But he really had a rough showing. He went 0-2 versus Sue in the open bracket. And then he lost to Harstum. And that was him basically knocked out of the tournament. I think it was something like top 36, top 40 in the ESL SC2 Masters. So not the performance he was looking for. I'm hoping that DRG can rebound a little bit because StarCraft 2 in Korea is just better when DRG is playing well. But to come against Dark here, one of the brainiest ZVZ players in the world.
He is goated, man.
This is going to be a tough matchup. Somebody who's riding the high of a top 4 at ESL SC2 Masters. I'm excited for it. Okay, so our game is loading up.
Oh, it is it is so loading up right now. It's really making me so excited. Guys, we're gonna go to Site Delta here. DRG versus Dark starting now. Okay, DRG in the bottom right, Dark in the top left.
It was really surprising to me how well Dark did in Dallas, given the fact that he recently has a newborn, right? I mean, that's got to cut into your practice time at least a little bit. Funny little anecdote. I was on the flight to Dallas. Oh, that's a really good sign. I like that one.
Oh,
look at this.
StarCraft League.
Hot 6 GSL.
Wait a minute, is that... That's our show. How do we not have that? What is that cool merch that I don't own? I did once steal a mouse pad from the studio. There were GSL mouse pads.
I'll keep your secret.
Yeah. And,
I have an original GOM TV patch, like the patch that you would sew onto a jersey.
Oh,
still
okay.
in my
Or
house.
like on a backpack.
I have a Prime patch as well.
The foot.
Yeah.
The foot, right?
I think it might be. I have to check.
Yeah.
But on my flight to Dallas, I was on a plane, and on this plane was basically all of the StarCraft 2 MMR in Korea. There was like Stats, Maru, I think Gumiho was also on the flight, Ryung was on the flight, Hero was on the flight, and all the way in the back was Dark, a couple of rows behind me. And I have never seen somebody sleep so soundly on a plane than Dark flying to Dallas. And I'm like, yeah, that's early fatherhood. This is probably the best sleep the guy has had in weeks. Is like riding this 747 across the Pacific Ocean all the way to Dallas. It's like everybody else is just struggling to sleep. I know when I'm on a flight.
You're watching people try to figure out how to kill time as you see them slowly go through an entire Netflix series and they can't pass out.
And Dark is sitting in the back. He's just fully reclined, and he just looks like almost a dead person. He's sleeping so well. And I was so envious because that's a long flight. It's like 13 hours between Seoul and Dallas. It's
a long trip.
It's a long way.
I remember like right when like StarCraft 2 came out, and it was like everybody was going to like an MLG. I think it was one in Anaheim or something, and Dan and me are on the plane, and it's like us and nothing but pro gamers. And Dan looks at me and he goes, "If this plane crashes, esports is gone."
I made the same joke when I landed at Dallas. Yeah. All the best players in the world are right here.
Yeah, right here, man.
There will be no more GOAT arguments.
Does this pilot know what he's,
Ferrying precious cargo.
Okay, so this is 3-base versus 3-base.
Yeah, the builds are basically mirrored down to a T.
We just got to see if one player stops making drones and starts making lings.
Oh.
Now, a Baneling's Nest doesn't mean a rush yet, because you need a Baneling's Nest to stop a ling rush as well. But if we see lings, we're going to know.
Yeah, keeping a close eye on the production tab. 2 more lings are coming out for Dark, but 2 lings doesn't really telegraph anything thus far. And I wouldn't almost be surprised if we saw one player really commit to aggression right now with just how close this has been. Although I say that, DRG firing up 6 more lings. We'll see when they decide to let up on the gas pedal, if at all.
The next wave of larva is going to come out here, and then we're really going to know what's coming.
Okay. More lings for DRG. He's sitting comfortably right now on about 32, 33 drones.
So just a couple more going to come out here. We've got a Roach Warren coming towards the natural expansion here. He wants to plug up the entrance. And the same thing, only this one's going to be a bit more hidden here for Dark. It's behind his the minerals at his natural.
Yeah, and players are just continuing to mirror each other, both droning up very heavily. I think DRG a little bit more greedy with the droning than Dark has been, but not to an extreme, not to the mode that you can really risk getting punished, at least not yet. And Dark actually taking, DRG, excuse me, taking another Vespene Geyser as well, that Extractor going down. So I'm expecting behind this high drone count that we're going to see a lot of roaches coming out from Dongregu in this situation. Lair also coming in for DRG. Really not that much. The Lings do come in, they scout the Roach Warren in the natural expansion, but...
So it's going to be about how well he can receive this big plume of lings that's going to hit him.
Oh, yeah, it's actually
more drones are coming. It's 16 lings inbound here for Dark. So Dark's going to be pulling the trigger.
Yeah, at least a little bit. Should be 30-plus lings coming into the natural and third base here of Dark. And that isn't really the amount of DRG. I don't know why I keep getting them confused. I think it's because we have blue for DRG on top and red for Dark on bottom, but on the map it's the opposite. And a lings coming in. Actually, nice micro there with the Roaches, able to work them into the corner. Banelings are going to be able to come into an assist. In fact, instead they're going in to try and help the drones out, but actually Dark is getting a lot of damage. All the drones at the third base are going to die. This is getting way more done than I thought it would, Tasteless.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that hit, too. So many low HP Lings. The Roaches trying to body block, but more Lings getting shift-clicked down. 16 drones have fallen.
DRG is taking a beating right now. And behind this, I mean, there's some more Roaches being made, but this many worker kills is pretty huge.
I saw the 30 Lings in total, and I really wasn't expecting this scale of damage coming in on DRG because he had some Roaches that were getting ready to pop, but...
Well, it's funny because it became clear pretty quickly it wasn't an all-in to end the game. He just wanted to kill enough workers to put himself in a comfortable position as things continue to develop.
As it is, DRG, he did drone up quite heavily behind it, and so worker counts are going to equalize in this kind of odd pendulum swing of the economies here. And I mean, from there, more drones coming down for Dark. DRG, he might be the one that decides to get aggressive because he does have that faster layer timing. He's going to have faster Roach speed. He's already starting +1 range attack, although I look at the production tab now and you see Dark is doing the exact same thing on his side of the map.
Okay, Queens are going to drive out this Overseer. And the rest of this game is basically a question of how can DRG catch up? How can he do this? You know, some games are win on like such a crazy degree of complexity. This game's not. Basically, Dark did a really sharp attack. He split his Lings really well. He killed workers. And so, fundamentally, DRG's just, like, kind of behind in every way. He's caught up in workers, but that means that, you know, he still hasn't reaped the benefits of the higher number of workers that Dark had for a while now.
Yeah, I feel like it's not that bad for DRG, though, just because of how greedy he was early. He was always a little bit ahead of Dark in terms of workers up until that Ling counterattack hit, and so I think he was able to better absorb the damage of Dark coming cross-map with those Lings more than a typical Zerg would in a situation like that one. And at this stage, we're basically done droning for both players for at least a minute, I would think. Sub 70 drone counts, a lot of Roaches in production on both sides. They are going to eke out a couple more drones in total, but With Tunneling Claws now coming in for DRG, he's definitely going to be trying some tricky tactics, and also a +1 finishing up for both these players. I would be surprised if we saw them transition off of Roaches very quickly. Even Drop Overlords coming in here for DRG, so he's going to start executing a lot of multitask tactics. Drops coming in, Tunneling Claws also done. And Dark seems like he's well prepared for it. He's got a Spore Crawler in every mineral line. How often do we see this in a ZVZ?
Not that often, honestly. It's a game where, you know, we've got the 4 base to the 3. Well, I guess actually 6 o'clock is being taken here. But, yeah, I mean, Dark is looking pretty comfortable. He's in a decent position right now. DRG, he should start making his moves pretty soon here. We do have 1-1 starting as well here for Dark, where I believe it was just missile attack for DRG, correct?
Yeah, I think so.
So that's one of those kind of long-term moves that every minute that passes is going to be more of a problem here for DRG, as the upgrades are going to favor Dark. We've got the Roach drop coming in, so he probably wants to try to get an... Oh, he's probably not going to drop it yet, but when it's time, he wants to have just enough Roaches there that he can dislodge the other Roaches that are going to be guarding the 3rd base, the 4th base, maybe the natural as well.
Yeah, and with Tunneling Claws, too, you're able to kind of work them around like DTs. Actually, both sides going for the Roach drop is so cute right now.
Yeah, just seeing whatever workers you can get.
I love these little danger balloons just flying around, dropping Roaches on drones.
Danger balloons.
That's what they feel like, man.
Yeah.
Back of the +2 Baneling meta where they would one-shot probes,
Yeah.
they were definitely danger balloons. It's like, what was that unit in Command and Conquer? Like the Kirov reporting.
I'm like the engineer. No, Jace, listen.
Just drop Roaches instead of, or Banelings instead of those little tiny bombs. That takes me back. Well, both sides going for these Roach drops. Dark only finding a couple of drone damage, but really not that much. And DRG coming across map where the Tunneling Claws also hasn't really been able to get that much damage done. Dark is just well equipped to deal with it. We might actually have a late game ZVZ coming in. Infestation Pit was in production, I believe, for Dark. Saw a glimpse of that on the production tab. Both players max with about 60 workers in total.
Okay, so we've got Dark coming out now on the move here. DRG sees that just outside the rocks. A big counterattack here from DRG, gonna kill 2 of these drones.
Yeah, 3 more drones going down. This hatchery might actually fall. It's at risk as Dark splitting his army. Does get caught in the middle there by DRG just off screen on the right side of the map. He is going to retreat and try and save this hatchery. Should be able to do it. And DRG is going to use this as an opportunity to encroach on the position of Dark. More biles raining down. Dark is going to have to reposition. And DRG, despite having a little bit less army supply, is trying to find an angle where he actually has an advantage attacking in on Dark. The problem is, Dark, with all of his forces back at home, except for those 4 Roaches in the Overlord, are just really able to parry this attack quite well. He is going into Hive Tech on the back foot of this. And these fights are pretty much just going to trade out evenly. So DRG going to retreat back at home. Dark, he is playing with a very low drone count.
Yeah, DRG's got about a 10-worker lead. But obviously, when you start to max out, that can be 10 more supply of army. And the Roaches are still doing damage. I mean, Dark's actually getting that count evened out pretty quickly here with the harass. Meanwhile, a push down here over at the 3rd base, and another one over at the, what is that, 5th over at 3 o'clock.
Yeah, Tunneling Claws actually going in. They're going to get the full surround right now as Dark is encroaching on these Ravagers. It's a 360 surround. DRG caught out of position. The Ravagers with very little support are going to get taken out. This is a huge blow to DRG's army. And keep in mind that Dark behind all of this has the faster Hive. So he's going for this timing attack, and he's getting all this damage done, even catching these Tunneling Claw Roaches. That's more damage being done. Dark is still maxed. And in a stage of the game where it feels like DRG should probably trade a little bit better than Dark, it's actually Dark taking the advantage with some really clever tactics.
Yeah, Dark looking really scary, like a real powerhouse here in the late game. He did some damage. The worker count now fairly even. It is 4 base to 5, although the 5th base is barely a thing. But Dark's going to slam into this position again at the top, doing a lot of damage. Maybe a bit of an overextension here in the bottom.
Maybe, but there really isn't a lot of Roach support. Yeah, plus the upgrade advantage coming in. Another surround on the Ravagers. This might just be enough to break DRG. There isn't enough of a front line to support the Ravagers.
Yeah, he just can't protect those Ravagers. Just this overwhelming amount here from Dark. Dark going to just shove right back in. There it is. GG. Dark takes game 1. in an impressive late-game fashion.
Yeah, I thought that one was going to go all the way to high-tech lurkers and vipers on the field, but Dark was just able to sever the head of DRG with that tunneling claws attack. When those roaches regrouped with the main army attacking the triangle third, I mean, that was just beautiful. Already, that was a fragile position for a DRG with a roach front line waning, but once the surround came in from those tunneling claw roaches and DRG's, the remaining forces that were supposed to deal with the roaches were at his fourth base or his fifth base. Wherever it was, he wasn't in position to deal with it. And Dark, despite setting himself up for the late game, was just able to completely decapitate DRG in one fell swoop.
All right, we're going to go to Golden Aura here for map number 2. I got to say, DRG put up a good fight, but Dark got in there, did his harass, and basically relied on upgrades in late game, along with some very clean movement to close that out. Can DRG turn this around? Or is Dark going to close this out 2-0 and go on to face off against Creator? Our game has loaded up, guys. Let's get into it.
Right, DRG spawning as the blue Zerg in the bottom right, Dark the red Zerg in the top left on Golden Aura. And that was a really well-played late game.
Oh, some state love. There we go. Look at that.
Number one in the world.
Welcome, everybody.
It's a really packed studio here in the front.
Yeah, it is. I'm excited for our finals, too. I think this venue is fine for doing finals, but it's nice. It feels more special when we use one of the other studios.
Yeah, I really like it.
I want to mention something before we get too far in this game, because I know some people, they skip the intro. They just get right into gameplay. There is a StarCraft museum that will be at our finals if you want to show up earlier. It's on the floor 11 of the building. There is also, and I don't know if this is if they're in the same place, there's also an Esports museum. Government-sponsored esports museum at the venue as well. That's always there. It's there year-round. It's open to tourists. I think it costs like $5 or something to get in, but it's very cool, and it covers more than just StarCraft. It's about the history of Korean esports. But I would recommend you check it out. I was last year we were doing Valorant in that building. I just showed up early one day to go look at it. I was very impressed. I thought it was super cool. So if you're going to be here, finals is Saturday, 5 p.m. It's at the S-Plex Center, so don't come to this studio. This studio is literally an hour and a half away from where our finals is going to be.
Yeah, it's the other side of town, and
yeah,
tickets go on sale 5:30 p.m. tomorrow. Make sure you buy them immediately. If you're just tuning in now, go into the start of the show or the end of the show. Wait until you find the graphic with a link to buy the tickets.
Yeah.
And be F5ing that page. Make sure you're there at 5:30 p.m. because tickets...
Yeah, it sells out in 5 minutes. So
yeah, that's not an exaggeration. They literally tell us oftentimes they sell out within 5 or 10 minutes. It is a race to buy those tickets even in the bigger venue. So make sure you get them. And doors open, I think, 4 p.m. So maybe get there like 3, and then you can go to the museum.
I think the venue's cool. It's not near a train station, so it's which I don't know about everybody watching. I just love just taking the train everywhere in Seoul, so it's a little bit of a walk from the train station. So you might want to come a little bit earlier just to make sure you find it, so you don't miss out on the opening of the show and everything. So, anyways, in this game we have 3-hatch versus 3-hatch. In ZVZs, where they're both doing the identical thing, we wait to see if one player stops making drones and starts making links.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically the same as last game. I'd be surprised if Dark didn't throw down that Baneling Nest in a moment here. And so we're just building up into a macro ZVZ. There is the Baneling Nest. A touch late here for Dark, but that's fine. And both players seem to have a similar mindset coming into this matchup. And thinking back to game number 1, it's rare that you see both players going for Roach Ravager with Tunneling Claws with 1 Drop Overlord. Almost the exact same drone count. I feel like they were basically played the mirrored games. I think the key differences were in the movement, and also Dark going for that second evolution chamber a little bit faster than DRG. Besides that, there really wasn't that much of variance in the way they approach the mid game. So I wonder if that is going to change over the course of the series, if now that they've played the first game and kind of felt out their opponent, if they're going to try and mix things up a little bit here. But as it is now, It's not looking that different. DRG still a little bit ahead in drones. This is similar to the way that he was approaching game number 1, and Dark was able to punish him with a really nice Ling flood. About 30 Lings in the mid game that caught, what was it, like 16 drones worth of damage?
Yeah. Excuse me.
And DRG coming with this Ling is going to get a good scout on, sees that it's still lair tech, or still hatchery tech, excuse me. Sees the Roach Warren timing, I believe, there at the natural expansion.
Yeah, I think he did spot that.
Gets to count the drones as well, so he knows that, you know, you only have a finite number of resources to spend at any stage in the game. Counting the drones like that means that DRG is going to know. Jesus, why can't I say this right now? Means that DRG is going to know that Dark doesn't have too many tricks up his sleeve in this moment.
Okay, nice snipe there on the Baneling. Now, even just seeing that one Bane there, that would, you know, make you think, okay, am I about to be attacked hard? What's funny is he's not. He's still droning up.
Yeah, I think it's more of Dark trying to feign aggression right here against DRG.
Yeah, this is a cool bluff, because I feel like I never get to see this in TVZ when I'm casting it. But the idea is still very much there. I want to see if maybe we see an overreaction from DRG. You know, basically it's like game 1, or game 2 plays off of game 1, right? There was a sharp Ling attack timing, and so this time he's trying to sell another attack, but there's really nothing like that coming.
Yeah, and DRG is going really quickly into 6 extractors. He actually took 4 of them at the same time.
Yeah.
They're going to come online about the same time as the lair. So it seems like DRG and Dark have a little bit of a different philosophy in terms of how to build up their economy in the early game. Dark took those extractors a little bit faster than DRG. This one drone's in the wrong spot.
Yeah, I always find it really cool when you have 2 players and they're going to get to the same place but different ways. But usually, you know, it's not apples or oranges things. One usually is better than the other.
As it is right now, I kind of favor the way that DRG has been playing it. A little bit greedier in the early game, and even after he got punished there by Dark, think of how quickly he rebounded after losing 16 drones. He still was able to max at basically the exact same time that Dark did. I mean, he did lose the game, but it showed that he's able to absorb the impact of aggression quite well. Source here is going to get picked off.
Yeah, takes that out. Evo Chamber, second one started right now for DRG.
And we're basically doing the same thing. We have Spore Crawlers coming in on both sides. After Roach Speed, I would be surprised if we didn't see Tunneling Claws the same way that we did in game number 1. There's a Drop Overlord with 4 Roaches, the same way as game number 1 on both sides. So this is not something I recommend here for DRG.
Wait, what?
Is that intentional? He just transformed Ravagers.
I think he walled himself out. Wait,
no,
what?
There's a path open. What? I don't know exactly what we're seeing there.
What?
All right. I mean, Banelings, they aren't as good at this stage of the game, but also, why?
No, it looked like he was stuck for a second, so then he killed it, but then as he killed it, we saw the Roach move in between the Evo Chamber and the Roach Warren.
Yeah, it was a one-tile gap. Maybe you're just at this stage in the game here.
I can't imagine there's like a bug where you're like, well, if you build a building below it, then it blocks the thing above it.
No, I think he just wanted it to be a clearer path. And this is the stage in the game where Banelings are kind of obsolete, but still, it is odd to see.
I guess it's
very odd to see.
In my mind, I'm like, I'd never get rid of tech, but yeah, I mean, I guess there's a rationale for it.
I think it's the first time I've seen a Zerg player kill their own Banelings nest like that to open up a bigger
Yeah. I guess we'll have to wait and see if we see that more often, right? You do want to plug up your entrances early on in the game. Maybe it's been concluded that it's like basically obsolete to have a thin area where you could have, like, let's say he gets 8 Burrowed Roaches into his main, just to have your stuff kind of get stuck trying to move through a hallway. I guess. I mean, I'm trying to steel man what he's doing right now, but I don't know if I'm totally convinced.
Well, I mean, the truth is that Banelings are just kind of not really a factor in the game anymore at this point, right? So, yeah, it's an interesting choice. Some nice micro here from Dark. Oh, look at that. Is this Hero in the booth?
Yeah,
That's an odd-looking Warp Prism.
Yeah. You never really get to see Overseer micro, but I guess you can do that with this.
Those 3 Roaches trading out quite well. And we're just going to power up. Here on Golden Ore, it's quite easier to defend compared to a map like Site Delta, where the expansions kind of pull you apart a little bit more. On Golden Ore, you have the high ground to play with. Well, these Banelings can try and find some value. 2 drones and a spine. Oh, 4 drones, okay. Not too bad, I guess. And both players behind all of this light aggression are just powering up for the late game. Infestation Pit's coming in. Hydralisk Den morphing. Should be turning into a Lurker's Den in a moment.
Yeah, it's been slow games with these two. But I guess when it comes to DRG, we got to see, can he hang better than he did last time with Dark? Dark just seemed to have a way more. Well, what do you know? Okay, it's official. It's in the meta.
It's in the meta.
Everybody start attacking your Baneling's Nest right now. You have a rare amount of time to go to try to embarrass your friends. So you didn't know that?
You didn't kill your Baneling's Nest?
You didn't kill your Baneling's Nest? You don't know about this? You're not up to date with the meta?
It is just funny to see. I think it's because, for me, like, I don't see a lot of ZBZs get to this stage. Mostly watching Korean ZBZ.
Sure,
Korean ZBZ is usually a lot more explosive than even European ZBZ, for an example. Koreans,
it's
especially
aggro.
Solar, when he was in his peak form of ZBZ towards the end of last year with, what, like a 90% win rate? He was taking series off of Serral. He was mixing in so many all-ins, so many cheeses. And we basically never saw this kind of late-game ZBZ or mid-game ZBZ even, but I guess it makes sense. Dark now expanding to the 12 o'clock position. Is going to get caught here by DRG, who's going to be sectioning him off and actually really hammering down this fourth base. Ravager count's about even, but the Biles are doing a lot better zoning here for DRG. And now that Dark is kind of cornered here below the hatch rate, it's actually DRG who's able to take the better arc. Well, Dark with a bit of counter aggression is able to cancel a hatch there at the 6 o'clock expansion. But this hatch is going to fall, I think. Dark is trying to scramble to defend. Actually, nice Bile connections right there. Some good damage coming in.
Oh.
And DRG's winning some of these engagements, but look at the supplies right now, Tasteless.
Yeah, but Dark's doing a lot of work back where the workers are at. He's wiped out most of the workers in the main.
Yeah, 7 drones going down.
Yeah,
that counts.
We use the expression a lot, like, you know, he's going to start a couple fires. The question is, can the other guy put it out? A decent amount of damage there in the main, about a 10-worker drop. I'm sorry I keep clearing my throat, everybody. I don't know if that's picking up in the mic, but for some reason, like, I'm extra congested today. But now we've got 10 Hydras about to pop here for DRG. I would assume for some kind of a push.
Yeah, the roach harassment continuing on here in the main base, but I don't think losing these drones hurts that much at this stage. Of course, it's not ideal. You want to have a drone count a little bit higher than what DRG has, I think.
It's even worse if you get the Overlord killed too. Now he's supply blocked.
Actually, this might be advantageous here for DRG. I mean, this army is going to hit at a timing where Dark really doesn't have the energy yet on the Vipers, and there's a lot of firepower. As soon as you add in Hydras on the back line, DRG's going to be doing a really good job of controlling the middle of this map. He's forcing these Overlords back. Dark supply blocked quite heavily right now, and with 70 drones in total, there is a window for DRG to try and get some damage done, but these are not good angles to attack into. With a high ground advantage here for Dark, he's able to get a better arc. So DRG not really able to capitalize just yet. But still, I'm liking DRG's position here. After killing that 4th base, Dark was set back to 6 Vespene Geysers for such a long time. Despite that, still a pretty sizable bank. Actually coming here into the middle of the map, even before the Vipers are out on the field. Dark chasing down, getting some key pickoffs. And the extra 15 or so drones that Dark has are really starting to pay dividends. Look at these banks just scale better and better here for Dark.
Okay, so the lurkers are out. We're going to see the first push here from DRG. Whenever you see lurker pushes, you want to always watch for counterattack. That's a lot. Oh, hold up. He's going to come in. Now he's going to walk into a wall of the lurkers here from Dark, excuse me.
So he's going to have to back off. Those Vipers actually going to try and get some ducks off, I think, on those lurkers. Able to get 2 of them right before they burrow.
Great, and even get some of those Biles to connect, too.
Yeah, that was a good move by Dark. Dark almost notoriously does not have the best macro. He does not have the best builds, although I would say that during this series he's been macroing just fine. But his late game unit control, especially with spellcasters, is maybe second in the world only to Serral.
Oh my
for ZBZ.
God.
Oh, look at this Ravager.
We need to get this Ravager off. I'm going to get sick looking at this. Okay.
Too much caffeine, man.
Yeah.
That's me with my second latte before a GSL
that Ravager watched the Pokemon cartoon. He didn't get the seizure warning. So the well, I shouldn't say counterattack. He's going to have a bunch of Broad Roaches come down here from the top. And there's no base here, but he could end up slipping into the 3rd base. He's doing a small drop. I feel like whenever you're playing against somebody like Dark, like when you see a small anything happen, you should know that he's actually hitting you somewhere else at the same time.
Yeah, and also this drop is going to set up quite well for a Nidus Canal later on in the game. It's already almost done. With 3-3 coming in. All right, Burrow to Rocha is coming in. Oh man, 2 expansions at once with the drop in the main base too. This hatchery definitely going to be going down, and DRG is not going to commit to the attack. Instead, going to try and scramble back to defend. That hatchery barely surviving. Instead, Dark working his way down. That hatch didn't go down, right? It was at like a sliver of HP. I can't believe Dark didn't focus it.
Yeah. I think he kind of fumbled it back there. So kind of a weird exchange. Dark, I mean, doing some damage, no doubt, but let's see how this counterattack actually does. A lot of lurkers with Vipers. They could crack open an otherwise well-defended position over here.
Yeah, Dark with a ton of Hydralisks popping in this moment. Yeah, something like 20 in production. 12 more in production right now. This is a huge arc of lurkers, but still, DRG going to try and push through. Abduct's coming in, does unburrow these lurkers. Also, Blinding Cloud's dropping by Dark. I think this engagement might favor DRG a little bit here, but it's hard to tell. I mean, the Blinding Clouds are so good right now for Dark. And just 1 or 2 lurkers burrowing here are really angering the position in the bottom left for Dark, but still DRG, he's able to kind of sever this gap between the 4th base and the 5th. And that could be a real big problem if Dark is unable to break out of this position, if the lurkers continue to zone him away and this additional base gets taken out.
He's not in there yet, right? Like, it was a pretty scary exchange, and there's definitely a big supply lead here army-wise, but he didn't actually get the job done. Like, these spine crawlers are still defending pretty well. He's shuffling his lurkers back, and there's plenty more. Oh!
And Nidus Canal going to pop into the main base.
Yeah.
10 more lurkers in production. Lurkers entering the Nidus as well as some Hydras. Keep in mind that Hive Tech is where DRG was siphoning the HP from with those Vipers, so it's already very low on hit points.
Oh my god, a second Nidus has started. Lurkers just coming that's going to be it. GG.
DRG just knows.
Yeah.
That's kind of phenomenal. I mean, Dark was behind on supply. He was in a dangerous position where that additional expansion, it seemed like it was going to get taken out, but DRG just knew it was basically checkmate. With those Nidus right in the main base, that Hive Tech was going to fall.
I guess the reality is, you know, lurkers are so slow to go back. You're never going to get up the ramp, literally, with that many there. Your natural is going to take a decent amount of damage. Your main is gone, and the 3rd base can probably be hit from the high ground. That's basically the Achilles heel.
Yeah, and DRG doesn't even really seem that shaken up from that game, honestly.
I didn't realize how quickly you could be had in that position. Guys, we have Creator versus Dark coming up next. We will be right back after this short commercial break.
Make them white, let them know they on the top. Any money more, once I see them, I'ma point them out. Send them up, it's gonna be a minute before they see the ground. Heat them up, talking about the maker, you gon' meet them now. Whoa, they know we near. It's getting hot up in here. You know it getting heated at the top. I'm on fire, I can't stop.
I'm on fire, warm hot, turn me up a notch. 600 degrees, got me burning up the spot. Fresh about the pot. Get it till I got, make a full flame. I'm on fire, I can't stop. I'm on fire, I can't stop. I'm on fire, I can't stop.
South Beach, make them feel the heat. I can tell you fake before you even speak. I'm just heating up, you hit your peak. We not neck and neck, even in my sleep. He said start a ride, I'ma start a fire. Sweet scent of the smoke make me come alive. If you see them by my side, then they bonafide. And you can feel the heat, we don't notify. When we come, pick a side, tell them that you down to ride. It's a fire, everything is lit, lighten up the sky. In the air, long way to the ground. Better hope you fly, like the time. Only get it once before it pass you by. Oh, they know we near. It's getting hot up in here. You know it getting heated at the top. I'm on fire, I can't stop.
I'm on fire, warm hot, turn me up a notch. 600 degrees, got me burning up the spot.